Today we're going to talk about why you should pursue your passion. It's never too late.
I am your host, Lia Dunlap, and you are listening to the Oracle on Purpose podcast, where we help intentional leaders clarify their purpose and next steps to create a work and life of significance.
All right, let's talk about what is your passion and why it's never too late to pursue it. First, let's talk about passion. I think that this is a word that can often be misused, and it causes a lot of distress for people. So if you're out there and you're listening to me right now and you're thinking, oh my gosh, if somebody tells me about my passion one more time, and you're feeling like you just can't figure out what it is or why it matters, stick around, because that's what we're going to talk about today. I want to break it down because I think like I said, the one thing that is important to remember is that the part of you that's passionate about things, that comes from your real innate purpose, right? Your unique life purpose, like I like to say. It drives your passions. And if you don't know specifically what you're passionate or most passionate about, then it can really feel like you're missing the boat, that fear of missing out. Like everyone else feels like they're doing it. They're experiencing life on a whole different level than you. It could feel like the risk of not figuring out what it is and really following it can feel like you're trapped in a world behind a glass wall, right? Like everyone outside seems to be having so much fun, enjoying what they're doing and creating things and building things and experiencing things. And you may feel like you're stuck behind a desk or behind a corporate, structure that leaves you feeling uninspired. I had a client recently that I was working with, and when we were talking about her current role, she works for a really great company. She has a really great salary, and yet there's something inside of her that she knows is missing, right? She feels like there's something greater calling to her. And so when she's at work, right, in her regular quote unquote job or career, she feels like she's distracted, like all she's thinking about all day long is this other avenue, this other role she really feels passionate about. And she's been in this position for over 13 years. So imagine that. Now, it doesn't mean that she started out unsatisfied, right? It just means that there's some part of who she is that wasn't being fulfilled. And so now she's at a point where she's ready to take that leap, right? Because that part of her life is growing inside of her so much that she actually spent an entire meeting looking for resort locations where she could step away from work for 8 days and solely focus on her passion. Now, here's what I want you to know. It doesn't have to be that way. We don't have to leave everything else behind to create the life we really dream of and to really dive in and express our passions and our purpose. And so as we're talking about that really quickly, I want to talk about purpose and passion. A few months ago, I was at an event for influencers and marketers, and I talked to a gentleman, and I remember this is kind of funny because he was really tall and I'm not particularly tall. And so I was really looking up at him the whole time, and I kind of thought it was funny that we had this like physical separation, and we had this separation about this word too, because I was saying purpose and he was saying passion. And it was just kind of this great visual of us being like literally on two different planes. And I said to him, I said, the way that I have come to understand it in the 25 years that I've been working around purpose with people is that we have lots of passions that are based out of our true purpose in life. In other words, so we are born with a unique life purpose, and that purpose leads us to lots of things that we are passionate about. And if we follow that passion, it typically leads us back to really delivering on our purpose. That, to me, is the key. Having something that you're passionate about doesn't mean you have to leave what you're doing now. So that's the first thing, right? Like people think that that's a risk of figuring out what their passion is, that they'll have to give up everything that they've done or everything they've created or, the 13 or 20 years of experience they have. And it's absolutely not true. Some of the benefits that we can have when we actually do start to follow our passion, and we do it wherever we are in our career, in our lives, is that we actually get to utilize all of the experience that we've had up to that point. And the secret is that part of those things that we're most aligned with throughout our experiences, whether that's multiple jobs or one career for a long time, or even building a business, to a point where it's actually really thriving. And yet there's still, like I said, there's that sense that you get up in the day and you walk out to do your work and it feels hollow. It feels like there's something more that can be in your life and you don't really know what it is. So if you're in that position, then the real beauty of listening to your passions and following through to pursue them is that you can take all of that experience. And more importantly, when you do focus on your passion, like that passion that's welling up in you, you can see sometimes with help, like with someone like me or another coach of some sort, you can start to develop a real career path or a real launch, right? Could be a startup launch based on not just what you're passionate about, but all of the experience that you've had up to this point that has been building on that inner passion. In other words, there are things you're already doing today that are signs, right? They're clues of what you're truly passionate about. So if you look at your life and you look at your business and you look at your work and you start to see things like patterns, or you get help to see those patterns, you'll start to notice that there are experiences that you've had that really completely aligned with your purpose and your passion. I think that the reason that happens, honestly, is because the universe is kind. It is benevolent. It is always working towards your ultimate passion and also to help you support and deliver on your purpose, right? So it's kind of always working in the background, no matter what you're doing, to try to reach that point. So those clues, like I said, of the experiences in all fields of whatever you've done throughout all of your career, and even sometimes your early jobs, think back for a moment if you're one of those of us who's worked in like fast food or something like that. You think, I never learned anything, or I never got anything from that. But even in that environment, if you really look, I'm sure you can see places in there where you had the most fun doing that work. And those are clues about what you're most passionate about, right? So that experience gets to come with you. So that's one of the benefits of really refocusing and pursuing your passion, no matter where you are. So it's never too late. You could be a 60-year-old marathon runner. There's a lot of room for you to really develop that. And the beauty of it is, if you're doing it when you're older, right? When you're 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 or beyond, you have 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 years of experience to bring with you. And that's fabulous. Also, another reason that, there's a benefit to doing it even if it's later in life is that you are a person who clearly has the power to commit to a choice. So when you do follow your passion, you get to use all that strength of commitment that you've shown for the other work that you've done in your life towards your very own passion. And that is valuable. Unlike someone who's just starting out, you know what it takes to stick with something. And so if you really take the leap to follow and pursue your passion, then you're going to take that level of commitment with you, which is beautiful and valuable in the sense that, as you're building something new or, trying something different, you're going to stick with it. And not last, but one of the third things and reasons that you can look at pursuing your passion later in life as a benefit is that you're clearly at a point where your desire has increased like 10 times, right? It might have been an itch. It might have been a thought. It might have been a daydream. But when you get to the point where you're ready to take the leap, clearly your desire has magnified. And that desire can really be used to help you do the hard work of launching or restarting or pivoting in your career. And that's going to take that energy. It's going to take being ready to be prepared and move forward, and having that desire, kind of the fuel behind you to really push you forward, to look for resources, to look for tools, to look for opportunities, to look for partners. All of that gets to be magnified by that desire. If you've heard me say like later in life, right? Pursue your passion. It's never too late. So I want to give you a few examples of people that we already know have indeed done this and succeeded at it, right? Some of these you may know, some you may not, but I kind of looked at just a handful of people that I think most people at least know of, right? This is by no means, again, as I like to say, an exhaustive list. I'm sure you could just type this in and find more and more and more people, and maybe soon one of them will be you. So, here are some examples of people that are actually doing this or have done this, which is what they pursued their passion later in life and were rewarded with success in that new area. So Harrison Ford was in his 40s, I believe, when he really hit the scene, and clearly his roles, not only in Indiana Jones, but the Star Wars series, the saga that is Star Wars, have well proven the fact that, delivering on your passion, even later in life, can really pay off. Stan Lee, again, here's someone who, is beloved worldwide for all the work that he's done. And it's said that he didn't get his first break until he was 40. So for all of you 30 somethings, hang in there. 40 seems to be a great spot, but I'll take you one further. Julia Childs, who didn't write her first cookbook until she was 50. And when, in the cooking industry, in the world of food, she is obviously well known and well celebrated, and really a champion for her work and her passion for food. And another person that I actually super adore, okay, did I just say super adore? I did, but it's true. I kind of get that fangirl thing going on, is Tina Fey. So a lot of people may or may not know that Tina Fey didn't start on SNL until she was in her 30s. And we think that we're going to know everything that we're going to do in our lives when we're 20. And I just don't think that's always true. If you are out there in your 20s and you've made this leap to doing what you're passionate about and you're following your purpose, I think that's incredible. But I want to let people know, and if it's not that story for you, I want you to know it really truly is never too late. There are people out there at every age following, finding, investigating, and really diving into their passions so that they can feel fulfilled in their lives, right? Wake up feeling like you've got your life in front of you instead of regretting going to work, regretting when your alarm clock goes off, regretting when you've got to go into another meeting. Ask yourself, what would it be like if you could wake up excited to work with whatever people you're going to work with or whatever product or service you're going to work with, and feel like you're aligned and happy and on purpose, passionate about what you're delivering in the world? It really never is too late. And if you're out there thinking, oh my gosh, it's, Monday morning and I'm going to do XYZ meetings today, and it feels like you are literally just moving paper from one stack of your desk to the other side of your desk, back and forth, and there's just no life, right? No joy in that work for you anymore. It's not too late. Ask yourself, look back at all the things that you've done. Where are the signs of the things that really do light you up? Where are the signs of times in your life now or in your work or people that you work with that you get really excited about? Who's that client that when you see them on your calendar, you're really excited to talk to them because they have something about what they're doing or how you're interacting with them really lights you up? There are always cues. There are always clues and hints and, signposts along the way to tell us where our true passions lie and what we are most aligned to do in this world. And really, as long as you're breathing, it's not too late. All right. Thanks so much for listening to this. I hope that for you, if this is resonating on any level, that you start to give yourself permission to investigate. Really, what are you passionate about? And are you living that passion right now or not?
Thanks for watching this video. If you haven't yet, subscribe and ring the bell. And if you want to see more videos like this, click right here.